Yeah, good evening, everyone. Today's podcast is about a global warming versus a individual. Uh, a global warming is a gradual increase in nowadays in Earth's average temperature due to greenhouse gas emissions. It is the importance of addressing a global warming to mitigate environmental and economic and social impacts. Uh, that's my point. What's your opinion?
So, according to me, when global warming has been segregated as a governmental action or individual action, I prefer more the both the things because same as government and individual has the responsibility towards the global warming. Because one person cannot be handle the global warming. So, like that, an example for that, um, when government brings a quality types of bus or a lot of action towards the transportations, then the bus will be has the more powerful thing that will be transported all over the India. Again, when we come to individual from this part, yeah, individual should take a step that they should have been reduce the single bike. Like when we are moving on towards some part of we should not use a single bike. Instead of using their own bike, they can use governmental transportations so that they can be reduce the global warming process. So this is my point, guys.
Yeah, Mitran, that's a valid point. But governments can't enforce everything. By people need to change their habits too. For example, using public transport or reducing a meat consumption. Governments can't force us to do that. They can encourage those actions through, and also take carbon taxes. For instance, if governments tax companies and individuals for using fuels, it pushes everyone to adopt greener alternatives. That's my point.
Yeah, Kanishka. So, as global warming is one of the most pressuring issue of our time, with far-reaching consequences for our planet and its inhabitant. The scientific conscious is clear that human activities, particularly the emission of greenhouse gases, are significantly contributing to the rise of global temperature. As the world is dumped up with challenges of global warming, a critical question arises like what role should individuals play in addressing this? Whether it might be an individual action or it might be a government action. So the debate between individual and government action is not a zero-sum game, where neither individual is not more important than other or government is not important than other. So rather it is a complementary relationship where individual actions can influence the government policies and vice versa. So that is on my point where more to the government as an individual we have to take towards that.
So I accept your point, Jiva, but can use some types of energy even though. So sorry guys, when we use the renewable energies instead of electricities, so like windmill powers and solar energies, it will gain somewhat uh, like reduce the global warming process. So like that, we have to reduce our waste also. So instead of using one time and putting into a waste, we have to reuse the product so that it will create somewhat reduce towards the global warming. Then we have to stop using the plastic items. The government has bought no plastic sales in the retailers or any shops, but they haven't been strict till date. So the government has to take a step to forward to be as strict so that it will not be done again. So it will be causes more thing towards the environment. So like that, we have to create some of policies too. So like increasing sustainable practices and environmental degradations. So we have to create such a policies that will be develop the environment towards the sustainable activities. So this is my point, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mithun.
Mitran.
Now I want to talk.
In individual action side, yeah, Jiva, you can continue.
Yeah, okay. So after the individual point, I want to go with the kind of how government can take some kind of actions. Like they can split up by identifying the challenges, and second is like implementing a policies and regulation, and we can take.
Yeah, Jiva, in individual actions in lifestyle changes, it reducing the energy consumption like using energy efficient appliances and turning off unused electronics, and by minimizing the wastes like recycling and composting, and also reducing a single use plastics, and how to adapting to the sustainable transportations like walking, cycling, and carpooling, or using public transports is the best thing. And also in a consumer choice, supporting eco-friendly products and businesses, and it reducing the meat consumptions like shifting to a plant-based diets, reducing it reduces carbon and methane emissions. And also it has some challenges like limited impact if not widely adopted, and also constraints like an economic affordability and a lack of awareness. That's my point, guys.
We can take in point of like interactions on comparing to the individual, and as I mentioned towards the individual separately and government separately, like discussion on how individual and this government approach can complement each other. For example, we can take like a successful campaign or a kind of initiative thing that have brought changes to the combination between the individual and the governmental actions. Where we can take example of that STZ goals, where kind of institutions, where we also as an institution we took a kind of initiative towards that, and interview with the activists or organizers who has worked on the climatical changing campaign also will be useful towards this kind. That is one my view.
So according to me, both the individual and the government has the same kind of responsibilities and accountability towards this. So individual has to lifestyle, like reducing the energy, minimizing the wastage, and adopting the sustainable habits, so they can use some more renewable energies also, conversing the water also. Like that, individual has to take somewhat step towards this. So, like consumer choice, supporting eco-friendly products also. Instead of moving towards the plastic things, they can move towards the jute, fiber bags, jute bags, cloth bags also. So they have to make some trends set like technology influencing greenhouse gases like that. So green products like green environment has the more power towards the environment changing towards the less uh,
so less global warming. So like that, government also have somewhat things like improving infrastructure developments. So government also want to invest in the public transportations because there was lot of less quality in the public transportations, and they have to build some of renewable energies infrastructures, and they have to give some remedies towards it. Like when we apply or when we developing towards the our home appliances towards the renewable energy like solar panels, government has been giving a 50 percentage of money in that, but many of them was don't know about this scheme. So government has to educate about this scheme. Like this, many scheme was applicable in the government. But major thing is government have not educated the people about this types of schemes. So the major thing that government should have to educate people.
Yeah, I'm going to conclude now. Both individual and governmental actions are critical in addressing the global warming, and also government must lead by creating policies and also infrastructure, while individuals must adopt sustainable lifestyles like a collaboration between individuals, governments, and organizations is most necessary for a meaningful change. Also, that's my point, guys. Thank you all.